Hello and welcome to the Side 1 YouTube channel. My name is Ray, and in this video, Fred's left shoulder rebuild part 5. We're going to move on down to the bicep. So up here I have the shoulder assembly as completed in the last video, part 4, and I have laid out here all the parts I am going to use in this video for the bicep. So this doesn't include any of the covers. So let's pull up the map that was created by Shido, and we'll have a look and see what we're building here. Okay, so what we have is 2 of these. This is the same file printed twice, just flipped one over, and that's the high arm side version 3. Again, here and here, same part flipped over, printed twice, is the low arm side version 3. We have a spacer down which joins between these 2 parts. We have a reinforcement rib, so reinforcer V2. I have this is actually the bottom gear, elbow shaft gear version 1. Normally, if you're just doing the bicep, this part would actually end up being attached to the forearm, usually permanently attached, and would be considered to be part of the forearm, but I've got it printed here because it also makes a nice spacer. Here I have the piston Basanti V2. We have our anti-clock V2, piston anti-clock V2. And this part here is actually 2 parts. I've already joined them using, when I post-processed this. So this is all printed in resin. And when I was post-processing it, I joined the 2 parts together. So I didn't need to use screws to join them together, and then UV cured it. So these are fixed as one part now, having been UV cured together. This is the servo holder, is the top part, and the servo base, both version 1s. Alright, so this is actually quite a straightforward assembly. So we push those together. Push those together, nice and easy. I will do some post-processing on these. I think it's important that I do. 1, the post-processing will make them clear, and 2, it'll actually join these 2 parts together, make them a permanent bond, so it becomes a single part. So this reinforcer will go on top here, and again, once in place and post-processed with the resin, that'll glue in there and it'll become one solid part. And then I can do the same with this one and put it on here. So it is important you print those 3 parts twice. That gives you the left and the right side. It's also the same files used for the right arm. So I'm doing the left arm, you use the same parts for the right arm. Now, this then will go between. So this didn't turn out too bad. I would suggest when you're printing this on an SLA printer, stand it up on supports. If you don't, you end up with some elephant's foot and you have to trim out the elephant's foot later. But apart from the elephant's foot, this fits beautifully. and works really well. No sanding required. So this will go in like so, this will go in like so. The spacer goes in here and down here. They get pushed together. What I will probably do is when I'm post-processing and making them clear, I'll weld this into one piece or glue it into one piece, one side. I do want the ability to pull it apart. This is the gear, elbow shaft gear version 1. So it will come down here, and this is where you need a bolt. And your bolt will go through the hole here. I've got this. I haven't drilled that hole out, I don't think. Sometimes the holes can be a little bit on the small side. Let me just check it. It's too small, I haven't cleaned it up. Back in a sec. I'm glad I checked that before I post-processed it. And now that goes through easy. And I use a nylock on these. The nylock will hold on to the shaft, so it doesn't have to be done up too tight, but it's just tight enough to stop it from falling apart. Now what I haven't got on display here is there is a pot that will need to go into here. That is part of the servo at the moment. It has a gear on this side which measures with this gear, and then there's a gear holder which goes on to hold that gear in place to stop it from coming off. And I will put that on a bit later. In the back side there is provision on these for a hole to be drilled, and you can put, if you've got them, the hot melt inserts, threaded inserts. I am going to use that with an M3 screw. I may look at an M2, but what I've been doing is with the M3 screws, and I'm running low on these now. I think I've got some more floating around. If I drill the hole out to 4.5mm, give the hole a bit of a coat with resin, and push that in with a screw in it, it will lock in there very well and stay put. So I might do that during the post-processing as well. Now, for those wondering why I haven't shown the post-processing in the past on here, it's because it's a messy job. I've got gloves on. If I get resin on the gloves, which is a high probability, and the reason why I'm wearing the gloves, I don't want to accidentally get it on the rest of the computer and recording equipment. So I tend not to record the post-processing. What I do is I make sure all of my parts fit first and fit together well. I then will paint the parts using a paintbrush dipped in resin, and that will actually bring them back to a clear color. So that's what I'm doing with my post-processing, and why I haven't shown it any of that on any of these videos at this stage. It is something you don't need to worry about with a FDM print part. It's not a messy job compared to this, but you don't get clear parts either out of FDM. So I'm going to take that part off, and this one has been post-processed. You can tell by it being clear. So I'm going to join these parts together for a start. Give them a coat on both sides so that these will stay joined, coated, and I will glue these parts in as well and UV cure it. So I'll be back after that. Okay, So I'm back. I've now processed these. I've used the resin to glue these together, essentially, and treated them with UV light. These won't fit into my Anycubic Wash and Cure 2, so I've had to do this on my desk using a UV floodlight. So I've done both of these, and these mount up this way. I've also installed a nutsert into here, so that was drill it out with a 4.5mm drill, paint the inside with some resin, and push in the nutsert using a screw to do so. What I didn't show in the earlier part of the video with these two components, this is actually the gear that connects to the servo feedback pot and a holder to hold it in place. And the idea is that sits on, there's a little bit of an indent in here, a little bit of a lump on that part there, it sits there and it will rotate on it. I can move past it. To stop it from lifting off, it's in here, and then we use a screw, in this case an M3 by 10mm long, and that will hold it in place there. And I'm going to fit that right now because it's nice and easy to do. And that should hold our pot reasonably centre. Okay, so the next thing we've got to worry about is this. This is the nut component of the screw, and it will fit in there, and it just rotates around. There's nothing to that really. This will screw into that when I get the alignment right. So I'll be able to pull that out when I'm ready. I was going to paint and glue this in, but I forgot all about that, so we'll just install it as is. If I was going to glue it in, it'd be into this part, because I'd rather it not come off this side. That way, when I pull this one off, I can keep the servo and everything in place. This hole is tight, probably because I dripped a little bit of resin into it while I was putting it in. Looks like it's just about in. Now this part I can take off later, but I will put it in now just to make sure everything stays in alignment. That's the basic frame. We would also use the nut on the back, on the bolt. I won't do that up tight yet. And that's holding it all together. It's all reasonably rigid. Our servo, when I get it, will fit into that, and then that will attach into, I'll do it up the right way, like so, and that'll give me two connection points to the bottom of the forearm and to the top of the forearm. So we'll come back to that. Let's mount this to our shoulder. Just pull that out of the way for the moment. So this should be relatively easy. So using our 30mm long screw, M3. Really wants a little bit longer. You can just see it's not quite down far enough. I want about 2 mil longer. Once it's done up, it's clearly 10 mil too long. And that screw I just put in is exactly 10 mil longer than this one. It's just getting that to do up in the first place. It's taken that time. You can see just in there the tip of the thread in the screw, in the nut. So that's flush with the nut, so all the threads are engaged. So that was fun to get in. Let's see if we can get the next part on. So that's engaged. This is the 40 mil long screw. Use that to try and pull everything in, then I'll change to the 30 mil. So that's definitely gone all the way in. Hasn't quite engaged. Now it has. Okay, so that's in. Alright, so just put that nut on for the moment so I don't lose it. So that'll do for this video. That's basically assembled. All we need to do now is put on the covers on the front and back inside, front and back outside. There is a cover to go on the front, but I'll hold off doing that until after I get the servo in. So on the next video, I'll probably do the servo next. That'll include installing the pot down into here, running the wires back. In the case of the servo for here, it will be run from the PCA 9685 located in the forearm. And I'll be able to attach these at that point. If you like these videos, don't forget to click on like, subscribe, ring that notification bell. It's a form of support, helps the channel a great deal and costs you absolutely nothing. The ringing of the notification bell will also let you know when the next video comes out. If you'd like to support the channel further, I do have a Patreon account and you can join my long-term patrons, VIPs, Go Lucky and Lorenz Berger, and my builder patron Al Morales 45. If you have any questions regarding the build of this or any of the other videos I've done, feel free to leave a question in the comments below or drop into the Discord. There's a few of them listed below. I frequent all of those ones. If I can't answer the question, someone else in the Discord might be able to. And we'll see you in the next video.